who's still making moves with federal lands. The primary victory was the first time in 48 years here in Colorado that an incumbent has been defeated in a primary. And that's because you, the voters, showed up. You said, we're done with DC politics as usual. We're done with DC double talk. We're tired of sending people there only to have them forget who they work for, overregulate, overtax, overspend, and ultimately destroy everything we're building here at home. You know, the RNC came to me a couple of weeks after the primary. They were trying to figure out exactly how we won. We weren't supposed to win this. We didn't have the experience they expected. We didn't have the education they expected. We certainly didn't have the money they expected to see. We were outspent 10 to 1, but there was not a single day that we were outworked. The RNC came to me and they said, Lauren, we rate voters. All of you voters out here, you have a number connected to your name, from a 0 to a 4. And they said anytime a political party wants to target voters with messaging, they're going to reach out to you 3s and 4s because you're a great return on their investment. You're going to show up and vote. If it matters enough, if there are enough resources, if there's enough time, you number 2s will get a message. June 30th, my top 1 and 2 voters were the 0s and the 1s. And I remember somebody else that reached out in 2016 to you forgotten voters and said, you are forgotten no more. And that's the same message we're bringing all the way to November. When I stepped up to run, I saw folks on the left taking everything that we love about our country. They want to take away our rights, our freedoms, our liberty. As a pandemic or a virus has shown, they want to take away your right of where you can shop, when you can shop there, what time of day, how old you have to be at that time of day, and of course what you have to wear to be there. That's not the proper role of government. The proper role of government is to inform us of the risk and let us make a decision to live our lives. Now this is really serious to me. I understand when people explain a risk to you. I know the risk of eating cookie dough. But God bless America, I'm going to eat cookie dough. I'm not going to let government step in and tell me you can't have that. We just want to keep things the way they are. It's really that simple. We don't want them forcing themselves in our lives, controlling everything that we do. I lived dependent on government. My mom believed the lies that she was told by the Democrat Party. My mom believed that those failed policies were the only way she could take care of her 5 children. I know what it's like to depend on government for food and housing and health care. I know how limiting that is. I know how depressing it is. I know that there's never incentive to get out of it. They want you stuck because they have control. It's a cycle of poverty that families get stuck in. At 11 years old, I stood in line for bread and cheese while my mom sat in the car with my 4 brothers. That's not the American dream. When we moved from a rough area in Denver to the western slope of Colorado, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to us. I got my first job at the Rifle McDonald's. I am so grateful for the owners of that business who invested in me. As a young teenager with no skills, hardly any availability, not knowing what I would do with that job, they took a risk and invested in me. They developed job skills. A work ethic came from that. That first paycheck that I received, I took it home to Mom. And I remember how empowering that was. I remember the pride that came with earning that paycheck. There was personal responsibility that began to develop. And I saw from a very young age that I could do a better job taking care of myself than government ever could. People want to destroy the American dream, minimalize it. America is the greatest nation this world has ever known because we have exceptionalism. We focus on the individual. We secure the rights for the individual, and we say that nothing is impossible for you. You can be anything that you want to be. You can go out and do anything and accomplish anything. You're not limited here in America. For instance, I went from being a girl standing in line for government cheese to receiving an invitation from the White House to watch the President of the United States give an acceptance. God bless America, and the American dream is still alive today. We are keeping it alive. Small businesses are keeping it alive, inspiring young people, generations to be involved, to put their hand to something and create their own prosperity. We have a government right now that's wanting to shut down small businesses, stifle those dreams that they're giving to young people. Small businesses are the lifeline of our country. They are the heartbeat of America. This year, when Governor Jared Polis was drunk happy, and that's the speech. When he shut down small businesses, I took a stand. Anything that you see me doing is not a political stunt. It's not to get attention. It's an extension of freedom, of being fed up. I'm not a politician. I just got fed up with things. When your wonderful Commissioner Rose Puglisi submitted a variance to the governor requesting for Mesa County to open up, I expected my commissioners to do the same thing. We didn't get a variance approval like you guys did, but your restaurants were opening while we were still shut down. Polis was sitting at a table with the president bragging that he was reopening Colorado. Rose Puglisi was reopening Colorado. Not going to wait on bureaucrats' arbitrary opening dates, and I took a stand and I reopened my restaurant. It came at a small price. I lost my food license for about a week, but I needed to make payroll. There was coming a day where I would have to look my employees in the eye and say, thank you for everything you've done. I can't pay you. But because of that stand that we took, we never missed a payroll. And the city of Rifle came and they commended our actions, saying Garfield County opened weeks sooner than we would have. The city of Rifle came and built patios outside of our restaurants. That is what government is supposed to look like. Working with the people to find sensible solutions that don't infringe on our rights. The work ethic that was instilled in me from working at a young age, the pride that came from having that job, the experience that came from it, it motivated me to go to the local jail. For 7 years, I counseled at-risk women at the Garfield County Jail. These women who were at the lowest point in their life and without hope, I was able to bring them hope. And not just any kind of wishy-washy hope you make it someday. It was a strong, favorable, confident expectation that they didn't have to live bound by their past mistakes. They didn't have to be limited by their shortcomings and their failures. But if they allowed God to get in the middle of it, He can restore whatever their past looked like and use it for a glorious future. I was able to bring these women in to my home, and they lived with my family. I was able to offer them jobs. This is what the Democrat policies are missing. They're missing community. We're not looking for a handout. We're looking to who we could give a hand up to. I was able to create opportunities for these women to get a fresh start. This is far more powerful than any government program could ever be. As a small business owner, I now know what it's like to take risks. I know when times get tough, you have to get tougher. When we opened our restaurant, we were just a Western-themed restaurant, wanting to serve our community with excellence, named after the only city in America named after a gun, rifle. Shooter's Grill quickly evolved into something else. There was an altercation where a man was brutally beat to death outside my restaurant, and it immediately prompted the question in me, how will I protect my people? How will I defend those that are around me? And that's when I took advantage of Colorado's open carry laws. Then after that, my waitresses began to carry, and the next thing you know, Nightline 2020 was in our restaurant, and Shooter's Grill was called the safest restaurant in America. Side note, I see a lot of Shooter's Grill shirts out here today, and I want to say it's such an honor to have that support, to know that you went there to exercise your support for what we're doing. You were sowing into my waitresses' lives, into my employees' lives, and that's a seed that will produce time and time again. So thank you all so much, and God bless you for that. Given me a platform for the Second Amendment, but through that, an advocacy for freedom was born. I began to read and study the Constitution of the United States, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the vision our founding fathers were divinely inspired to have for our country, and I saw how far away we were drifting from that. As you heard Representative Janice Rich say, President Ronald Reagan told us that freedom is always a generation away from being lost.
Right.
This is me doing my part. This is you doing your part to stand up and serve our country and secure freedom for generations to come. I'm a mother of 4 boys. My husband Jason and I, we are raising our boys to be men. We are raising our 4 boys to love America. We know that that's not going to come from safe spaces and entitlement. It's going to come from faith, hard work, determination, and these values that we are instilling in them each and every day. As a mom, there is a mandate on my life to secure the nation I'm sending my boys out into, and I refuse to send them into AOC's socialist nation. Conservative AOC, and I just want to get it straight today. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the socialist Lauren Boebert. Freedom is what motivates us all. Freedom is why we are here today. We want our freedom big and our government small. Against a far-left socialist. You won't hear from her much unless the media is campaigning for her. They like to do that. But Joe Biden has not yet given her permission to come out of her basement. Diane Mitch-Bush supports the $93 trillion Green New Deal. She's been on the record for years having a love fest with Bernie Sanders and his universal health care plan. A single-payer system that would bankrupt businesses like mine and yours. There's no way we could afford the payroll tax that came with that. My opponent has an ad out where she proudly brags that she is endorsed by Planned Parenthood. Life begins at conception. And Mesa County, as your congresswoman, I will always tell Planned Parenthood to go fund themselves. Now I know that there are personal attacks coming my way. Please know that I'm okay with that. I know exactly what I signed up for. And I know that they have to attack me personally because they can't win on policy. This election has so much at stake. We have President Trump, who we want to elect for 4 more years and secure all the great things that he's been doing. Re-election, and he needs our district. When I won my primary, I got a call from the senator, and he said, "Lauren, I'm riding your coattails. I need the third to offset these liberals in Denver and Boulder. We're going to help secure it for Senator Cory Gardner to keep that Senate seat." You be sure to let everyone know, a vote against Senator Cory Gardner is a vote against President Trump. Because if we lose this Senate seat, the Democrats will do everything that they can to remove him from office.
That's right.
This election, freedom is on the ballot. America is on the ballot. We always hear that this is the most important election of our lifetime.
It is.
No matter how many times we may have heard it about the previous election. Well, folks, this could be the last most important election that we ever have. Joe Biden has already said that he wants to fundamentally transform America. The last person to say that was Barack Obama, and he had a great start. We will not let that mission end successfully. We are stopping it this November. You guys are inspiring hope in so many people. You being here today shows that there's something worth fighting for, and that people are fighting. We're standing up. We're speaking up. We see now more than ever that if we remain silent, we lose by default.
That's right.
The Democrats run for office. The Democrats hate me, and they're terrified of the message that I'm bringing to you, because I was supposed to be one of them. I believed their lies, was raised under their failed policies, was stuck in their cycle of poverty, but glory to God, I broke out, and now I'm bringing this message of freedom to everyone. Thank you all so much for being out here today. Share this message with your friends. Don't think that they don't want to hear what you have to say. There are people who are hurting and lost and dying. We see the lawlessness, the destruction, and the chaos that's happening all over our country. People wanting to defund, dismantle, and disband our police officers while we are standing strong behind them.
Amen.
They are looking for answers that you have on the inside of you. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't wait for permission. The invitation may never come. Speak what's in your heart and share that message to everyone you can. God bless you all.